Hi, Craig Plants with Resident Realty. I want to thank everybody. What an overwhelming response from the first video that I did, the introduction to the videos that we're going to be doing moving forward. You can see all those videos. They'll be online at realtybp.com, and you'll be able to see them all, go back through any of them as we continue with this video blog process. Today we're going to talk about the real estate boards. Of all of the questions I get the most, I get asked about boards. From both sides of the spectrum, people who want to be board members and people who don't want to be board members. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk a little bit about being a member of a board and some of the changes from when I first started in real estate in 1992 to today. I've been a member of multiple boards from Fort Collins, Boulder, Denver, South Metro Denver. I've been a member of all these boards over the past years. And in doing so, I've also noticed a lot of changes. So what I want to do is I want to talk about what the values and the reasons for joining the board was when I was a younger agent, and how maybe some of those have changed today. Number one, we're going to talk about the MLS. When I joined, the only way you could gain access to the MLS was by being a board member. They controlled complete access. I call it, they were the gateway to the MLS. So we were able to join the board, and then we'd have access to the MLS so we could conduct our business. Now, if you look at our website at realtybp.com, you'll see I've got something there that shows in 1997 there were some changes. There was a lawsuit, I think, that caused the changes, but it's kind of interesting. And if you go to that website, you'll be able to read a document that shows that after that time and after that lawsuit happened, within the next year or two, you were able to join the MLS without being a board member. And so what that's done is it's changed the environment a bit. A lot of people that are members of the MLS are no longer members of the board. Now, I've tried many times to get that information from different MLSs, how many of their members are board members and how many of their members are non-realtors. And they will not give me that information. I did get one convoluted answer at one point in time, and all of the information was there in a way that I could actually extrapolate out. I think the number is pretty close to 40% of the agents in the Denver metro area and northern Colorado are not board members. And if we can ever get that answer from the MLSs, it would be interesting to see. And I think the reason for that is the MLSs are owned by the board. So I understand that they don't want to see their membership decrease when people understand that you can continue to do business as a real estate agent in the state of Colorado in certain markets without being a board member. The next thing we're going to talk about is Realtor.com. When they came out with Realtor.com, you had to be a member of the board to get your listings on Realtor.com. And as more and more consumers started to use that site due to the marketing that Realtor.com did around the country, it was very important for you, especially if you're a listing agent, to have those listings on Realtor.com. That's not the case anymore. Today, you can, just by checking a box in your respective MLS, your listings will go to Realtor.com. Realtor.com is no longer owned by the National Association of Realtors. It's now owned by News Corp. Rupert Murdoch, I believe, are the ones that have purchased Realtor.com. So it is just another advertising source that you no longer need to be a board member to get that value out of it. The next issue and a great benefit I thought of the board was the lobby. They have a lobby in Washington, D.C. So for instance, on Dodd-Frank, for instance, on the fair housing rules that are right now being exploited by HUD, where they're trying to actually add price to it as a protected class. Can you imagine if any neighborhood now you couldn't discriminate based on what somebody could afford, and that they're trying to use that and act like it's a protected class. But it's very important that we have a lobby nationally that can go ahead and voice our opinion as real estate agents. Well, the National Association of Realtors does have a very good lobby, and typically they side the way I would want them to side, or the way most agents would want them to side. Sometimes they deviate, but that lobby is kind of a very nice value to being a board member. I still don't understand why I have to be a board member to contribute to that lobby, but that's they're the ones that do that make that possible. Specifically with the Dodd-Frank rules, we really would have loved to have had more people involved outside of the million realtors across the country. It would have been nice to have had all those non-real estate agents with the same voice to hopefully have curbed that law. And then lastly, I want to talk about another reason that we used to be told one of the great reasons to join the Board of Realtors or an association was the Code of Ethics. Well, the Code of Ethics is kind of an interesting thing. And what I want to do is I'm going to read you, I'm just going to pick the first article, I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to have some comments about it afterwards. And we'll go ahead and run it here on the screen as well, so you can read along with me. Okay, so Article 1. When representing a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, or other client as an agent, realtors pledge themselves to protect and promote the interests of their client. This obligation to the client is primary, but does not relieve realtors of their obligation to treat all parties honestly. When serving a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, or other party in a non-agency capacity, realtors remain obligated to treat all parties honestly. Well, does that sound familiar to you at all? Because it should. It's a state law for the Colorado Real Estate Commission. And if you look through the contracts and the duties of a real estate agent, our fiduciary responsibility is outlined very well. And it's almost identical to what we're reading here in Article 1 of the Code of Ethics. So I want you to take the time and go through all 17 of the Code of Ethics. And I think you'll find that they all mimic a state law. So my real question is, if this is one of the greatest reasons to join and be part, is so I can say I'm part of a Code of Ethics, well, number one, I'm ethical whether or not I join any group, as I know most of you are. And number two, we are already mandated by law to do most of the items, if not all of the items, that are in their Code of Ethics. So to conclude, there are several reasons that used to be great reasons for us to join associations. They were the gateway to the MLS. They helped us to, because of that, we were able to get our listings on Realtor.com. And what I thought of the Code of Ethics was a layer of scrutiny above and beyond that of what the state already requires. Those are not issues. And we can now participate without being board member. And then there is the lobby. As we discussed, I do agree with the lobby on many cases, and I know I can always get on board if I want to. So to coerce brokers or have brokers coerce their agents to join a board without them having that individual choice, that's why Resident Realty gives agents a choice by having multiple managing brokers. So when an agent comes to our company, they can choose whether or not on their own to join. I don't like the fact that as a managing broker, if I decide to join, I have to coerce all my agents underneath me. Have a great day.